dogs are trying to come in the back of the place and I don't know where they come from. The jackhammer's going out there, oh dear. Oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, wait, no you can't. Oh, I have to see what I can do. Oh. The jackhammer's driving me nuts, it's driving me nuts. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I'll have to see what I can do. Oh, the jackhammer's driving them nuts, it's driving me nuts too. Look, I don't know what to do. It's so loud. They're getting it even worse than me because it's actually out there. It's coming from the boarding place that they're supposedly finished, but now they've started up doing it again because they want to create sound, a negative sound to mentally disturb me, to bring a human being's frequency and vibration down, just in other words, to make you disturbed and unhappy and agitated. And that's basically the name of this game, of this android suburb called Leichhardt in the inner west mind-controlling human suppression system in the city of Sydney. The inner west region is nothing but an army-controlled android, artificially intelligent controlled base where most of the civilians are part of this army work, patrol, control, surveillance system workforce. It is artificial intelligence, complete takeover, which most human beings are unaware of until they openly show it to you like they have to me, where they're finally come out of the woodwork, out of the shadows, shall we say, to show exactly what they've been doing around you, that they need human energy. They're actually not human beings at all. They have no humanity. They're the equivalent of psychopathic, malignant, narcissistic, paranoid, controlling, artificial human beings. And that's exactly what they are. They're your new androgyne race that basically is controlled by the powers that be, and they worship the God entity of earth that some people call Lucifer, the being of light, who was then shown to really be a being of dark, evidently, because that same thing was exposed, like is to me, where the being of light, or what you think are real human beings, are really beings of dark, and they come out of the shadows and show their true nature and their true controlling need to control a human being, just as the malignant, narcissistic, paranoid human beings need to control real human beings to elicit and extract the energy from them so that they have life and the human being gradually, slowly dies, like myself. See, I'm being suppressed and slowly killed off by this, you could say, this evil alien invasion that's around me, but they're not really evil aliens. But they come across that way because they're not human beings. They don't have any humanity. But they're not aliens because they're in human form. They're the same as a psychopath in a human body. And even the poor dogs outside are being mentally disturbed by all this incredibly negative jackhammer racket going on. In other words, where they're using mechanical technology to create negative forces against myself and the animals by creating essentially very destructive, negative, anti-life sound. And I'm being very dramatic here and using these words because I have to, because I'm making a video. But in reality, they're just surrounding you, that you're on a construction site. And I am literally on a construction site because it's got construction site written on the back fence just out the back of this place where I am. Because literally I've got 2 lots of construction, 2 lots of major constructions going on right outside the door. And this is continual daily. And this has been happening for the last 7 years, where they stage these set-up work programs all around you every day to where you're always a nervous wreck. You're always surrounded by these uncomfortable, negative mechanical sounds, which the androids are just using basic traffic, basic cars, basic trucks, basic, the army-operated bus depot that's just down the corner, which has expanded to 100 times the amount of buses over the last 7 years. Everything just came out into the open, where they showed how many people were really involved in this anti-life, anti-human program, patrolling, surveillance, policing of human beings in order to extract their energy. Obviously, they will say that they are policing and patrolling you for some other reason, to probably other people, because basically they got everyone in on this game or on this patrol surveillance program, and everyone is rewarded or reimbursed for it, just as the vehicles are reimbursed, I'm told, for their petrol and for their excursions when they travel and patrol around you in a systematic patrol control force. Also, they are actually given access to every vehicle in the suburb. Like, you have vehicles parked all over the suburb of Leichhardt, and all the androgyne beings, or the apparent real human beings, can jump into those vehicles to pull in and out and patrol you at any given moment. And because they have total human tracking on you, where they know your every move, where you are at every precise moment, they basically are all in this collaborative human patrol, control, policing of citizens program, where they're patrolling and policing and watching and following and actually suppressing the limited number of real humans in the suburb of Leichhardt and in the inner west section of the city of Sydney, because they actually do this for the secret reason of eliciting negative energy from you, just as we're told that psychopathic and malignant, narcissistic, paranoid, controlling, personality disordered human beings do the same thing in their personal reactions or interactions with human beings. And this is the equivalent, the same deal. Some people might say, well, you just have an entire suburb of malignant, narcissistic human beings that have combined in a control, patrol, tracking force, using technology to combine to patrol and track and watch and suppress you, so that as a collaborative effort they're getting the same as on a personal relationship, where they're basically extracting negative energy from you, so they feel good and you feel bad, and they're actually surviving and thriving while you are disintegrating and going down mentally and physical because of their suppression surveillance system around you. And if you allow for the reality that it's much more vast than that, that everyone involved is part of the whole workforce, part of every industry, that they have access to every building, every house, every shop, and every single nook and cranny is covered, because they've basically got a total tracking surveillance system in operation in the entire area, to where wherever you go they can always see you, always track you, and always know where you are, and they actually see what you're doing, because it's like as though they have video cameras installed in every single nook and cranny in every single part of the suburb. And literally they do, because the technology is much more advanced than what you're led to believe, or at least to what a lot of humans would think is possible. But that's merely because the powers that be put all these programs into operation and get everyone in the community and in the suburbs in the city of Sydney on board in this program, and reimburse and reward them for it, so that people who normally wouldn't have any occupation or any means are actually being employed and given not only rewards but a reason to exist and a purpose in their daily life, so that they're not bored and don't become angry and disgruntled at their circumstances, because then, as was told to me, they would probably be upset with the powers that be, whereas in reality they work for them and are servants of them, because they're being reimbursed and rewarded for their patrolling, controlling behaviour and being part of this surveillance system that surrounds a few human beings. And also, it benefits them because they are actually a slightly different species. So because they are of that psychopathic nature and only have a need to control and can't experience any human high frequency and vibration, this is their natural way to exist anyway. So this world is being controlled by the powers that be that are also of this type, and they're using their fellow servants, particularly